Fala galera, today I'm going to review some of my matches from the tournament that I play for a luxury game in Dkayed, and I feel like it could be interesting for you guys to take a look at my perspective and see what I think, what I made it right, what I did wrong. I didn't rewatch a lot of those games. I mean, I take a look like superficially, but not really super into it. So yeah, so we'll take a look. I got top 8 in the event, and I'm going to do 2 matches in English and 2 matches in Portuguese. So this one obviously in English, and the next one is Portuguese, then English, then Portuguese again. Okay. Before we start, I would just want to show my Metafy, which is intended to the international audience, which is many of you guys. So if anyone is interested and have coaching sessions with me, just take a look at my Metafy. The link is down below. And yeah, you have a lot of things that you can take a look and explain exactly how it works. Okay, so that's it. So let's see, it's open, yes. So let's see. So this was the first round of the tournament. The tournament was last week. I wasn't playing much when the tournament was announced, so I kind of make the deck out of fury. I played some matches before, but not much. So yeah, so my opponent's on Instant Fusion, which is pretty bad here because the interactions that I have are not that great in Instant Fusion. So, oh, and of course, maybe my opponent will do some mistakes as well because this was week -1 of the new set. It wasn't even the first week because it was last week. The set is going to be released this weekend when we are going to play Pasadena. I'm going today. So yeah. So research Merly, probably going to do, I don't remember, he's probably going to do the middleweight play. So that's what he did. Chain 1, chain 2, so can't master. So he milled like that. All that. Okay. I feel like he didn't even miss once. Like this one kind of matters for me, potentially. But he hit like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 effects of those 8. So yeah, not really great on my end. Yeah, things are happening here now, okay? So he trigger screen, select Ishizu to mill another 5, Shireen, and that's it. So Shireen was the last one, and I don't remember what I did. I feel like I used Saronir, and I used Saronir first here because sometimes people, when you're going to summon Abyssal, they use one of the Bunishers, the Shufflers, right, to prevent the monster to being summoned. So I wanted to test with the Abyssal first, this one first, to see if you're going to do that, because eventually I was going to use Magnamut, and then that one would resolve, and then I banish, and then I have the ability to search as well, because probably next turn, if there is even a next turn, I wouldn't need it. Okay, so I used on Shireen, he said okay, which I rather him not doing that, and then mill more effects, which was pretty annoying because he hit, I feel like, the Hino Heart and this one to get the trap. So that was kind of annoying. So I mill 5 here, and I missed. I mean, I don't have a lot to hit, but I had 2 Nimble Anger, so I mean, it can help. So he got a Sulik from deck, and got a Shireen from deck, and new chain. So that was interesting. He decided to not use Hino Heart, and I don't know if he forgot to use this, because he could have, right? Add a trap for your grave, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So I think he forgot to use that. So he Shireen here. Discard the Havanese, which I think is the only one that he didn't trigger yet. He triggered Merly? No, not yet. So there's Havanese and Merly still to be triggered, so he milled another 3, and he hit another Mudora. He decided to not... Yeah. I thought he was having a cover, but not. So I use the magnet. On Havnis, he chained his magnet. So it's like, well, I think this is not going well. So he did that, triggered the effect. This is a way to at least prevent from Magnum to being summoned. So he linked 2 here for this. So he did not use the effect yet, and then he normal summoned a Hand of Heart. And didn't use the effect again. Like, I thought it was really weird. Make a Bahamut Shark with the... I mean, he was trying to do a Bahamut check, which he can't, so he's going to take back. Okay, I think he's going to make a Redo if I'm not mistaken. No, a Dweller. Well, a Dweller. Set 1 and pass. Like, he definitely made some mistakes here. Because, I mean, this is a Dweller into a clear Spright. And also, I mean, look at the graveyard. There was a lot he could have done here, and ending on only that probably wasn't optimal. I feel like most of the time I would have lost this game because the way the game went and ended. It started. So Pitwell is sure. So I'm gonna summon the carrot to see what happens. I know this is Sulik, and he can't use Sulik yet, so I feel like it's likely that he's going to try to sprint here. So he did. So the problem is, if I use Magna, he's going to chain his Druidworm, and that would be annoying. So I didn't. So pretty much when you both know that you both guys have monsters, and you both know you guys have Bestios, you are in this impasse. Like you can't continue, you know, like you can be the first one to try to trigger, so it's really weird. So he used the effect, mill free, hope he misses, of course not. So he sent the callback, and I just use Meister, yeah. I can't let that resolve again. So he said, okay, now I know he has a Merlin, has a Sulik, I'm on the Dweller, and pretty much I don't have grave effects. Like, I can Elf, I can Dark. Well, I mean, I can try, but it's not going to be really good. I think I remember what happened. I feel like he made another mistake. So yeah, this is the mistake that I was going to say. I don't know why. He randomly used both here, and I don't understand why he did that. So I don't know. He just used both effects to shuffle some cards. I feel like the intention was first for me to maybe... Let's see what he put back. Yeah, that was just weird. I don't have a really good explanation why he did this. I think it was just a mistake. I think maybe because he wants to Sulik not Sulik. He wants to Havnis and maybe have a higher chance to milling good effects. But I don't think that's what you should do in that position. So I just attacked to prevent the Sulik. I didn't know about Havnis, by the way. If I'm not mistaken, I think I didn't know about this Havnis, so I attack here. And then I summon the Jet to play around the Sulik, so Jet resolves. And that resolved, but here I got Havnis, which was kind of annoying. He mill again, he hit another name, so I have the second Meister, and you guys are going to see, like in the upcoming matches, like this game and other matches, the Meister really did well for me. So he did that, I used Meister. And then I used starter for blue. And then he said, okay. Now I have carrots to trade with the Sulik. So he did Sulik on Ras, on the carrot, which I think I negate. Yeah, I can let him fuse. So I negate, yeah. And then now I can play. Now I can play. So I did those two, went for dark. He withdrew Druidworm, and that was intentional. I want him to commit that. So now I make gigantic, sand, swap. But I feel like this is already a bad position. And then I lost, which is really annoying because I think my opponent made a lot of mistakes and still didn't matter. I feel like the biggest problem was the, I think, not known Havnis in his hand, and of course he milled like 6 effects of the mill weight. I know you have a lot of targets to hit, but 6 is on the higher side for sure. So that's what happened game 1. So now I go first. This is my hand. That's pretty good. So I went beaver for angler. Went for jet. Then went for blue, red. Make this guy that negates things, and now I make gigantic, which is an interesting outcome because I can do this, use the swap frog, then bounce the swap, discard the angler that I drew. Now I trigger and bring 2, so I gain extra monsters in this process. Summon the red, use the effect, get the toad, and get that. So I have a lot of negations, as you guys can see. Kind of immune to Dark Ruler because with Dark Rulers I have Sanctum, so that's good. So draw phase, I decide to use Sanctum, and I won the game. But I feel like that would be a win anyway. Let me see, even without Sanctum, probably because I have too many negates. Let's see what he had. I want to see his hand. I forgot to take a look before. Draw 5. His hand was Druid, Foolish, Hand of Heart, Terraforming, Shireen. It was a hand. It was a hand. And he drew for a turn. Let's see what he drew for a turn. Let me see. Diviner. He was a decent hand. So if you don't have this Sanctum, I would have another card, right? Probably another defense. So I was defending. It would be a game. It would be a game. Not necessarily a win, but a game. And of course, side close the deal. And this one is the really interesting game because when I look at this hand, I say, yeah, well, I think I lose. Going first into this deck, no interactions at all. And I had like 20 hand traps here. Like this is like 3% of chance of drawing 0. Sure. And then he used that, mill 5, and I said, maybe if it doesn't like super hit here. So he sent 5 here, and he didn't super hit. He's going to get a trap and a fuse, but he didn't send another tier, so it's going to be an awkward fuse. And then I'm going to mill 5, and I hit the angler. So okay, that definitely could be worse. So he triggered that anyway, and I triggered my angler, of course. And I had 2 monsters on the turn, on the beginning of the turn, which is useful for sure. So he got a Sulic, and he's going to fuse, and I think he's going to fuse from hand. That's what he did. So I mean, it could be worse. So I still have no interaction. So he got a Merly, probably milling 8 now, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, 8, and then let's go to the casino again. There's already 13 cards being randomly moved from the top of the deck. Nice, nice gameplay. So now. That's a little bit better. He hits both effects that he didn't trigger yet, which was a Havenis and a Merly. So he has those 2 available now. So he triggered the Merly, he triggered the Havenis. So Havenis and Kikalos make Lucaros, and Merly and Bahamut make this guy. That was a little a weird choice, but so he link away. Use the elf, get this guy, so he randomly hit that, so that was kind of annoying. So now he's going to mill another 5, so there's already 18 cards milled from the top of the deck randomly. So going to trigger, I have nothing to send, so I just hope he doesn't send something ridiculous here. He doesn't have a lot to send right now, like just more shufflers, but he already triggered all 3 tiers. So that's it. So I send, and he sent a bunch of shufflers, like 1, 2, 3. Like he has 3 shufflers already in grave, and I sent a bunch of hand traps because I didn't drew them. My deck is entire hand traps at this moment. So he said free and pass. I was like, okay, sure. So I've seen worse situations, and then it got worse because I didn't draw for turn, since I drew a jet and I already had a jet, and I drew 2 blue. So this is not only a bad going second hand because I drew a lot of monsters, but not only that, but also because I drew a lot of the same monsters. Because if it was at least like different monsters, like all of one of each, but no, it was a lot of the same. Like if it was like a starter and one carrot, you know, like different monsters at least. But no, I have like 4 cards in hand. The other 2 I can't even use. So he activated that for some reason. I don't know why, but I feel like what's going to make it weird for him is that he played this weird card, like he sided Dkayed against me, which I think makes no sense. And this card is not that great, I think. So it was a break. So I summoned the red to negate something, like this Rukaros or this elf. I know he has a Sulik, so this is going to be really difficult. So he uses this right away, and I use the red to negate. And then he used the Shuffler. I don't know why. He's put Merly, Havnus, and with Dragon back. I don't even remember. And then he should. I'm really confused. And then he sent that. I feel like something legal will happen really soon. So he's going to put 3 back. I feel like one of the mistakes my opponent did, not only this game but the other game too, it was that he's not using the shufflers really well. Like he's using the shufflers as like something to get resources back all the time, not more like something to stop your opponent. He still has the Mudara, but still. So Merly entered the board. So he's trying to do this all the time, and then I mean he sent that, so he can't send. So this is going to go back for a second. Then we are going to realize that he can do this. So let me fast forward a little bit. Yep. So okay, so he didn't do is just summon the card back. So I summoned the Jet here. Jet effect. He says okay. He already used Sulik. He didn't use this one yet. I don't know what is the back row, and I know hand is a dead Sulik. So he drew a Sulik and this. So I used this Jet, got his smashes, and I feel like that was a good decision. Then I linked those 2 for an elf. Why? Because, and I feel like that was one of the biggest mistakes my opponent did. He decided to use one of the shufflers for no reason, try to mill better. But now, in my perspective, I have 2 ways to interact with Graveyard, which is usually elf and dark. Since he used one of the shufflers, one of them are going to go through. And that's what I wanted to do here. I wanted to use the elf to bait this one. But then he used Rukaros, which was fine. It could be worse. So he used the Rukaros, sent itself. I think he's going to change. Yeah. This works, right? I sent it on the card. Yeah. So now he got the Havnus and I summon that. I mean, I need to just hope Havnus doesn't super hit. And then he Havnus, send 3. Oh, imagine missing. He sent another mill 5. So I got a carrot here to try to protect myself from the unknown back row. But at this point, I already had a read based on how the game is progressing. Like it's not a negate, it's not nothing. I think it was at the point, right? It was either a barrier or Eradicator. If it was a barrier, I think I already lost the game. So I need to play as it was Eradicator, you know? We're going to see another 5 cards here. Effects are being used. See, like, this is not going my way. He just sent all 3 names. Yep. So I sent 5, which, I mean, of course, there's nothing to hit. So he triggered Shade Ring, and he triggered Merly, and he triggered Havnus. So he Havnus, I mean, he's doing the Havnus first to this guy, and then he's going to make Merly and Hand of Heart and someone else to this one, and Shade Ring last with those 2 for Dracospidus. So this is a really bad outcome for me. So he used this one, then triggered the other one. This is the target of the Kaleido Heart, and I use Smashers in Chain here, which was pretty interesting because he used the Dracospidus in Chain because I think his idea is to what? This is going to die anyway, right? And I think in his position, he knows about my carrot. Those cards are dead. I don't have those cards, so he doesn't know that. But those cards are dead in my position. So he uses Dark Spirit to make this level 1, so my carrot cannot be summoned, special summon. So he made this level 1, and I feel like that was premature on his perspective. So I went for back row just in case it was something weird. It was a Dkayed that I read. I mean, of course, I know now. I know now because I played the game, but back then I was thinking about being a Dkayed maybe. So he got a Hand of Heart as a follow-up. And then that was the thing. I had the beaver and I did the normal summon this turn. So I normal summon the beaver, bring another beaver from grave, use those two to make a dark, and I use the dark to bait the Mudora. He didn't use it, and that was a big mistake on his part, because now I use the effects of Magna trigger, and then he doesn't have any interactions anymore. So I make this gigantic Spright, big one, and I attack the Kaleido Heart. So I attack Kaleido Heart dies, and then I attack the Kikalos with this Magna, kill that, and I went Donald, and then I went Zeus. And this was really good because most of these cards are already triggered. All the fuses, he fused 3 times. He already triggered Sulik. So it's often that the Zeus is dead in this match, like they can do. But in this specific situation, it worked. So I used Zeus, everything died. And then end phase, I got an interaction. So like, and this is a Hand of Heart and I know it. So like, this is a really upside outcome that I think it wouldn't happen. Like my opponent mill like 23 cards between 2 turns, I think. No more even, because he mill of Haven is of Murdy, and he milled like 18 on 1 turn and 11 the other turn. And somehow here we are. And I feel like this shows that probably my opponent wasn't super familiar with the deck yet. Like he knew some things. It's not like he was completely lost. He knew some things, but probably with the new cards, especially the new ones, the shuffler, he didn't use them optimally, and that probably cost him this game, because I think it's really unlikely that a Spright can win a mill 20, like I don't even know, like almost 30 cards mill. And it's not like he missed, he hit, like he milled 5 and hit all 3 names. It just happened. So, and one thing that I feel like is also a good thing to talk about here is that I didn't give up, right? I could have given up, but I said, anyway, I mean, I'm already here, like I might as well try. Something can happen, and something happened. So I used the Red Worm, and then that's pretty good for me, and then I won the match. So like, this is a good example of taking advantage of people's mistakes, because my opponent obviously made a mistake here. And I needed to play really well to compensate that. It wasn't like, if I play fine here, I think I would have lost anyway because of the sheer disparity between our hands. And I feel like this is a good example of those type of games. Like this is the type of match that you stole a win. Like it's not, this win wasn't supposed to be mine, and I took an opportunity. And sometimes there's a difference between topping or not. And this tournament was a single elimination. This was the first round, so I would have lost this round. So yeah, that's it. I hope you guys like it, and don't forget to take a look at my Metafy, and see you next time. Bye.